Okay, so it's the next day. Last night was kind of interesting. It wasn't extremely eventful. Light traps didn't turn up a whole lot, but I'm getting a little bit used to that, around here. However, I did find a lot of Lycosidae, a lot of wolf spiders, specifically caroliniensis, baltimoreana, and then the common wolf spider. And it was really strange because 4 of them darted after my finger when I was trying to show, put my hand down and show scale. And that almost never happens. So they must be really hungry. And it makes sense because I barely noticed any ground invertebrates besides the spiders. I didn't see many beetles roaming about or anything, so I don't know what's up. However, get a load of this. Check out what just happened. I'm checking out a log and stuff. I roll over a log and I'm wearing like my sandal type shoes. And this large velvet ant runs out and she had nowhere to go. So she wound up running up and into my shoe. And I felt her going around between my toes. Needless to say, it was pretty traumatic because I didn't want to get tagged by her between my toes. That would have been just excruciating for a little bit. But so it was kind of funny. I jumped back and got her out. I actually, an Imperial Moth flew by and he landed right on me, so that was kind of cool. I don't know if I filmed him or not, can't remember. But I didn't see many ground invertebrates. Barely saw anything going along the ground except for, some of the native cockroaches, which aren't the ones you see in the cities, and a lot of spiders. So I actually think these wolf spiders were hungry because there wasn't a whole lot of activity. So yeah, I don't know. Look at the size of this. It's a big mushroom. So hopefully tonight I'll remember to put a UV light on this. Look where it cleared away the ground before the cap was formed, when it still had the great veil or whatever it's called. See those feathery antennae? Hold on. You see those feathery antennae? That's how you know it's a male. The males have those type of antennae. The females' antennae are more thread-like. This one's not as big as they get. Especially back home, they get larger than this. The caterpillar tends to feed on deciduous trees, but they also feed on, pine needles and stuff like that. Really cool caterpillars. They get really big before they, go into cocoon. And then when they close, they look like this. Very beautiful. See that brownish stuff? The brown markings? Often they'll be pink. Okay, so you can see another tower climbing there. You can see one climbing there. So those are often indicators of a change in the weather. There's lower altitude clouds like this dark one here, that dark one there, they're moving along. Strong indicators of rain, heavy rain usually. And if a cloud is taller than it is wide, that's another strong indicator. But you can definitely see how the cumulonimbus is climbing, turning into a tower from the thermals, right? So the cloud climbs high, hits colder atmosphere, cooler temperatures up there, and it spreads out like an anvil or a mushroom. Okay, and these clouds can be, up to 30 or 50,000 feet. It's a pretty tall cloud. So when you've got that stuff, the winds are high, the temperatures are all over the place. So you get the rain drops and particles moving all over, going up and down over and over and over and over. Sometimes that forms hail, which is why they have multiple layers when you cut them in half, like an onion. Anyhow, I'm talking a lot. Awesomeness. Have a look at this. This is a Swamp Darner. Awesome dragonfly, but I think she's trying to lay eggs. I'm sorry, hon. It's got to be too dry. Maybe in a few hours. See? You got different layers. You know, that one's creating a shadow on that one there. So that's high into the atmosphere. But many different layers. So that's a strong indicator of thunderstorm. I don't care what anyone says. I think there's a thunderstorm on the way. Okay, so I'm at a spot I call Tiger Beetle Ruin, and I haven't seen any tiger beetles. I saw one yesterday, maybe two, but usually I don't see them this time of year. Usually it's more like May and June. So I'm also sure you've kind of gathered it is hot right now. So I decided I'm going to actually go to a different spot and go swimming for a little bit and then continue on. That looks like a swallowtail caterpillar. Big time. There's the real head, and there's the false head with the eyes, and that's where the osmeterium comes out. Kind of cool. Quick detour. I think I'm going to stop where I released those widows last year just to see what's going on there before I go swimming. I don't know, where I should be seeing widows, I'm seeing grass spider webs now. Probably not the best to be walking this way. Oh, something just darted in there. This is cool though. You see this right here? That is an old black widow egg sac. Okay? Looks like a little face. But they get this somewhat tear-shaped, you know, teardrop-shaped egg case. But this one is long since empty. So there should be a bunch of babies around here. Let's see if I can get a better view of this. That looks promising. Sort of those towers. Those two towers climbing. I mean, they're literally climbing as I watch. So that's always a plus. As always, this water is so warm, but there's definitely a supercell coming this way. Well, I don't know if it's a supercell, but it's a thunderhead. It's coming directly this way. I was wrong. I thought it was going southeast. So I'm going to swim a little bit and hopefully get out before the lightning hits the water and kills me. Holy cow, I better get out. Everything's getting dark. There's definitely some activity over there, which you can even tell by what's behind me, that the storm's about to hit. So I just remembered that when the weather gets like this out here, the paths and little side roads and things that get you around, they flood out something fierce. And it's definitely pouring now. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop recording, get out of this section, get to a safer area so I don't get stranded out here for the next day. Yep. The puddles are definitely building up. Holy crap. That's what I'm talking about. If I waited like another 20 minutes, that was deep. I wasn't talking about this one. Hey. Those are black cherries. Those are black cherries, and they are delicious. Always something out here. It's not that deep, but I pulled my tent away from where I thought the water would be. I'm so glad I did. Just this tiny little corner. But I gotta let it dry before I pack it up in the morning. Thing is, I don't even sleep in the tent. You know, I love listening to the thunder. I just wish there was, you know, more of it, or that it was doing that tonight so I could just lay in the hammock and listen to it. But I'm glad I took the hammock down and the tarp and everything and brought it with me, because, you know, sometimes I take a nap out there. The rest of the stuff I put under here. Of course, I leave this for show, you know, to give people a false impression that there's multiple people here sometimes. But yeah, I guess now I'm going to make something to eat and then get back out there. I just rolled this massive log and there's something making noise. Listen. And there's a ton of termites. So I'm wondering if I exposed warriors, you know, soldier termites that are sounding an alarm. No, because there's a soldier right there. It's not big enough to make that noise. What's making that noise? I gotta find it. My jumping spiders would love these. Ooh, I think it's the termites making that noise. So that's how they let each other know that there's danger. Or that's basically how the soldiers do a call to arms. Listen. So toads are smart. I've seen this happen so many times. There's a light source in the middle of the woods and they approach it because they know that's where the food's going to be. Check out this little tan jumping spider. Adorable as hell, obviously. I want to kidnap it, take it home, and keep it forever because it's a jumping spider and I love them. Another Carolina. Again, they're on the small side, and it's, you know, it's the very beginning of August, first day of August. So they definitely get bigger than that. I am exhausted. I'm not even sure why. It's going to be hot today, hotter than yesterday. It's already 93 or 94. It's going to be 96 today. But as you know, it did rain yesterday, and it rained hard, just as I got into the water too, go figure. I mean, I had a warning with the clouds, but you know, there's a lot of false alarms these days. So I decided I better get out of there just in case it flooded too much. I mean, some of those puddles got really deep, and I don't want a chance messing my vehicle up or getting stuck. So then I headed back to camp, cooked some food, and when the rain subsided and everything, I headed back to the swim spot, or one of the swim spots, set up some light traps. Nothing really. I mean, nothing to write home about. Found a bunch of stuff, but nothing exciting. I set lights up in camp later on. Same deal. I used both, you know, 2 different wavelengths of UV and also cheap fluorescent. Not a whole lot. Not what I was hoping for. So today, I'm hoping to, and you know, I actually don't think I'll find any tiger beetles because, you know, being August, it's a bit late in the season. When it gets real hot like this, they don't show up as much from what I've noticed, not around here. But definitely seen a lot of mutilidaes, deer flies, of course. In fact, I'll probably talk about them. Hopefully I'll find some warrior beetles.
Nope.
And maybe even some Physalis beetles or something like that. But so let's see what there is to find. Oh yeah, and I really hope I find, you know, a male mutilidae or a couple of those so I can film them. Okay, so before I die, let's go see what's out here. You know, a bit of a theory I have is once it's over 90 degrees, which is well over 90 right now, I see a whole lot less insects, as well as everything else, of course. But even the ones that I thought were, you know, high heat tolerant, I'm not really seeing. Little Fowler's toad. Very common species for the pine barrens, of course. They love sandy habitats, but I've seen them in deciduous environments also. You know, I kind of hate that it takes me so long to pack up camp on some days, because by the time I get out, it's already in the afternoon and everything. I mean, I don't rush when I'm packing up, and then I gotta let stuff dry and everything else. But getting out late, you know, after early morning, you definitely see a lot less stuff. That looks like a branch heart, you know, from an evergreen. It isn't, but that's how the flood debris looks here. It's kind of cool. I'm definitely noticing different types of velvet ant are more dominant at different times. You know, I'm seeing less of the medium ones now, and I think that's because their main hosts are less abundant at the moment. You know, their season is a little bit earlier, so therefore that species of velvet ant seems to be. I'm still seeing them, but I'm seeing mostly the tiny ones and then the large ones, which would make sense if my theory is correct. Okay, I'm soaked, see? Just look at that. I'm trying to be delicate with this deer fly, even though she tried to steal my blood. But there's another thing. Okay? Let me show you. There's the tool that she uses to drink our blood. Doesn't matter if you're a deer, a turtle, or a human being. They use that mouth part to basically incise a hole into you, so you start bleeding, and they have an anticoagulant saliva, and then they just drink up the blood. So, not exactly the friendliest of flies. It was not their fault. That's what nature selected them to do. Sorry I'm so shaky, but working with macro is really hard. There they are. attracted to a dark moving object, in this case my mirror. Interesting, huh? There you go. Nope, that barely phased them. So actually, I learned that whole thing about them chasing the mirrors and stuff like that because I met this guy, Frederick Miller, who owns the cranberry bogs in an area I was exploring. And we were talking for almost an hour. Pretty cool guy. And he was telling me that the deer flies could be relentless, but they would chase the little, the lights on his tractor because they were black, mounted on the front. So that's kind of interesting. Here comes some sugar sand. So yeah, there you go. So maybe if you're hiking in the woods, you don't mind being a fool, you can tie like, a little flagpole on you with a black flag coming off it or something, or like a head, like in Mad Max 2. I don't know what it is, but it's almost like the deer fly are attracted to movement even more than they're attracted to dark objects. They're definitely attracted to black, but when I move, that's when I get a lot more deer flies, which is interesting because in Africa, the zebra, their stripes actually repel the horse flies. Deer flies are a type of horse fly. They're in that family. So I don't know. It's just interesting. Yeah, but they are relentless sometimes. Let me tell you, especially in the hot days. And they can vector several illnesses, although quite rare. You can get tularemia, which is like rabbit fever. And here's my favorite. You can actually get eye worms. How awesome is that? Eye worms, right? At least it's treatable. Okay, so this is another attempt at swimming. This time there's definitely not going to be any lightning or anything because it is mostly sunny and it is 96. I'm getting in there. Went swimming, obviously. That was nice. Cooled me down and stuff, but it's still 430,000 degrees right now. I'm still exhausted. But I'm hoping that, with the rain and then with the sun and heat and everything, maybe I can find some warrior beetles beneath, some logs. And this is a good spot for logs.
Nope.
So, fingers crossed. So I just turned up black widow nest there. Tons of babies. Northern widow, of course. And then I found another one, another female. And that first one, I'm pretty sure there will be a whole new batch because there was an egg that didn't look like it had hatched yet. But wow. So kind of cool. But I got to be careful, right? First widows I've seen this whole trip. Every other widow web I've seen has been long since abandoned. In the nursery, all I found was, empty webs and discarded egg cases and stuff. They're good size. another one. That's a black widow egg sac right there. You can tell because it's tear shaped. And there is the spider. This one's weird. What's up with her? Oh, there are several baby widows. They hatched. Characteristic of a northern widow is that incomplete hourglass. She's thin. She must be fasting. I don't know. I mean, did she lay? Right, she made another egg case. That's why. So she's had 2 broods. Because that egg case is fresh. There's another web. I don't want to disturb it. I gotta be careful whatever I touch, huh? There's another one. Actually, what in another egg case? Maybe this isn't the best spot to be looking for, for warrior beetles. But awesome. Okay, so I figure I better wrap this video up. You know, it's getting late in the day, and I've got a long weekend ahead of me. I'm doing a single camp day tomorrow with a bunch of 4 and 5-year-olds, and then working an insect event Saturday and Sunday. I got a ton of getting ready to do, an 1.5-hour drive home. Tons of stuff. But how about those black widows? Awesome, right? And same with the velvet ants and stuff. I gotta check under a couple more things for warrior beetles, but I don't think I'm gonna find any right now. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I did a lot of looking around and found some cool stuff. Went swimming, or tried to, a couple times. One successful time. And if you like this video, definitely hit like, and if you subscribe, it definitely helps me to be able to make more videos and stuff. Because you get a little bit of money for every like 10,000 views. You get like $2. So anyways, thank you so much. I'm exhausted. So once again, I'm Chris Egnoto, and I'll see you in one of my other videos. Maybe check out some of the ones I've already done. Help me out a lot, and there's something for everybody. See you later. That's really neat. That's supposed to mean something. I forget what it's supposed to mean.